Well, this is an abnormal location for us to be shooting a video from. When I envisioned making this video, I figured that we would have kind of three sections: where we were prior to, where we are right now, and kind of where we're going.
Okay.
I figured that we would give people that insight.
Yeah.
So do you want to talk about kind of where we were, and then I can parlay in?
A year ago, we were still working our 9-to-5 jobs, and we were doing content creation, freelance photography on the side. So we're essentially working 2 full-time jobs while raising 2 kids.
We were working brick and mortar 9-to-5 jobs as W-2 employees, and then we were also working our own business on the side, where we were trying to grow this media company to a point that we honestly didn't know what we were growing it to. We didn't even know. I tell people all the time that this business, what we do for a living now, like we tripped and fell and landed in business. We never had we didn't know that this, when I started this, I didn't even know this was a job. I just knew that I liked taking photos and making videos, and I know the same is true for you.
We're passionate about the art, and we figured at the very least, we're just going to have some pretty epic home videos that our boys will be able to look back on when they get older.
Yeah. So we were, like Amanda said, we would get maybe 1 or 2 longer trips per year because we were still entirely beholden to the amount of vacation time that we had from our employer. And not to sound ungrateful for great jobs and a good amount of vacation available and all that, but it wasn't enough for us. We were not willing to continue working for somebody else and being told when we could go have the fun that we felt like we wanted to have. Like we had both kind of maxed out what we were going to be able to do with the jobs that we had, and it was either move into middle management type situations or make a change. And to us, making a change made more sense, knowing that we went from making a lot more money to now making a lot less, but we also went from having a lot less time to now having a lot more time. We spend all of our time together as a family. The first real transition that we had to make was about a year ago. We converted from being 9-to-5 W-2 employees to being entirely self-employed. So we worked with brands in roofing, in the automotive space, in apparel. We worked with just a variety of brands, right? Most of those being local to our area, which is, we live just outside of Seattle. That's where home base is for us. That was, once again, not to sound ungrateful, it was a great opportunity, and we loved getting to kind of go through the kindergarten of business ownership. Like, we had no idea what we were doing. Mm-hmm. We had no clue. We don't really have, at least at the time, we didn't really have many mentors that were in business. Not a lot. And then through that process, through spending a year running a business and having pretty much no idea what we're doing, we were lucky enough to meet a variety of people. Some of them business owners, some of them not, but all of them great mentors to help us grow and develop our ability to function and run life, family, a business, and, all of our social media.
Like you said, they're not all business owners, but they're all extremely passionate and driven. And they just refuse to allow any fear to hold them back. They fail, right? They will all tell us that you will fail along the way, but you're going to learn from those mistakes and you'll move on and you'll be better. But that is just the way that it goes.
Yeah. So we worked with a lot of local clients, and we discovered that we had a lot more time than we did when we were W-9 or W-2 employees. We had a lot more time. We were able to go to almost every show and expo this season, which was too many. Frankly, we went to way too many.
Yeah.
The cool part being we got to host booths at some shows that we normally would not have had the extra time to be able to host a booth. And we got to meet a lot of you guys. At risk, once again, of sounding completely ungrateful, we just discovered that once again was not what we had in mind. I think the dream from the start, which we may not have really known at the time, but we now know all the way, the dream was always for us to travel semi-full-time. I mean, we wanted to be remote. We want to do remote travel. We want to do remote work. We want that to be how we live life. So I think that concludes where we were, right? That's part one.
Okay.
Where we were was we worked 9-to-5 jobs. We left our 9-to-5 jobs to be small business owners. We learned how to be business owners in that way. And then over time, we wanted different than that, right? So, and so that brings us to where we're at right now. And where we're at right now is a lot of uncertainty.
24 hours into being on the road full time, and yet we're in a cabin, though. I don't know. Does that count?
I don't
We
know.
left home yesterday.
Yeah.
And this is technically within the first 24 hours of us having stepped away from that chapter of our life.
Mm-hmm.
And we are officially in the next chapter.
Yeah. Without sounding too cliche, we definitely, yesterday was the act of closing a page and moving to the next chapter of kind of where we see our lives going.
I don't think it's always so identifiable when you end a chapter. This one was, or maybe it was like the end of volume 1 on a book, and now we're just like an entirely different book.
It was just very vivid.
Yeah.
It was very vivid. Like Amanda said, it's not always so clean cut that you know this is the end of something and the start of something else. This one was very vivid. It felt very real. That saying it that way also though makes it sound like only exciting and happy. And if I'm honest, what I wanted to show with this video was the fact that we're absolutely terrified, and we have very little to zero idea what we're doing day to day at this moment in time. I mean, like the amount of things that we're in control of and that we know are going to happen predictably is so small. There's maybe 2 or 3 things that we're like all the way in charge of. We don't know if this is going to work. We don't know if we're even cut out. Like, we don't even know if we can do this necessarily. It seems really challenging to travel remote almost full time. We don't know if we can even afford to do this. We don't even know if that's a reality. Like, if we can go live the life of a traveling photography family, right? Which is, I guess, what we're shooting for. No pun intended. So where we're at right now is we're very excited. We're very optimistic. We're definitely like, we wouldn't be doing this if we didn't think it was possible. But we also have no idea whether it's going to work. And so we just want to level with you guys that we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen, but we're going to go for it.
Like Patrick said, we only have control over like a few things every day. So I think that ultimately this is just our opportunity to focus on what we love, which is creating art, building relationships along the way, making connections. Those are all the things that we're extremely passionate about. And I think that now, for the first time, and it's really hard, for us to wrap our minds around it. But we have all the time to just dedicate to those things.
There's some things I feel like we might learn, or I guess I can say I hope we learn, or I think we might discover over time. One thing that I've been suspicious of, I think kind of my whole life, but I don't know the answer to, is I think we're only in control of so many things all the time. Mm-hmm. I think even when we thought we had more control over life, we didn't. We just felt more comfortable with where we were. So I feel like we might discover that.
I think I've kind of come to terms with that. I know that you and I have talked about how we've been in like different phases of processing stuff. Mm-hmm. I have definitely reflected on the fact that whether it was a W-2 or when we switched in the last year and we were doing contract stuff, but it was closer to home or like local stuff, mm-hmm. or it's this, none of it's guaranteed. You can get fired from a W-2 at any point. The company can close its doors, it can sell it off, it can decide to downsize. There's not really any security there. And trust me, a lot of people in the Seattle area right now are very aware of that.
So I think that successfully wraps up where we're at. So I'll push us on to where we're going. I think where we're going, a component of our success is going to be creating more content for you guys that is long format, multi-platform.
The goal for YouTube is definitely going to be us being able to share more about our adventures. So there's a lot more in-depth storytelling that we're going to be able to do and we're going to be able to focus on moving forward.
YouTube long format storytelling really favors sensationalism. It favors we almost drove off a cliff, or we almost died, or we got stuck in a snowstorm. Like, all of those things are really what the modern long format algorithm caters to. And frankly, we're not great at that. Like Amanda said, we typically are just doing, a week or two a year that we have able to go and do long format journeys. And we have like a handful of months available to us right now. So we're only 200 miles from our house, but we're headed thousands of miles away. Mm-hmm. We're going to make our way all the way down to Baja and into mainland Mexico, and we're going to tour the American Southwest. What I am going to commit to you guys today is, one, we'll do more shooting like this, if this is something that you like. We can call it a video podcast or whatever you want to call it. We can shoot like this almost all the time. It takes very little editing on our part. Mm-hmm. Just cut it together and present it. So if this is something that you like, please let us know. I'm also going to commit to releasing regular adventure content. So I'll be filming, we will be filming mm-hmm. everything that we do on this adventure, because like Amanda said, we have all the time in the world to do it now. So
we're going to share everything with you guys.
Yeah, we're going to share it all.
We've, I think, kind of reserved a certain portion of who we are and who our family is and what we do. But now, like, we'll completely remove the veil, and you guys will get to see everything else that there is with us.
Failures. Shortcomings.
Failures. Yeah.
Character flaws.
Yeah. Plus, you guys are going to find that there's never a dull moment with us at all.
Yeah.
So we're going to get to share, like, even those little stories and stuff.
And then if along the way, I know that this will feel like a shameless plug, but that's why it's all the way at the end. If along the way you feel like you like what we're doing and you want to support it, there are a huge amount of ways that you could support us, right? You could support the brands that support us. So you could, use links or go see our sponsors. We're pretty awful at affiliate marketing, so
terrible.
We never encourage people to go use like our link tree or anything like that. But it's just because we don't want to feel salesy. It's not.
Everything that we put out is art first, and everything that you guys see is genuine. And that's been important to us from the start, and that will continue to be our top priority moving forward.
The outlook of how our business has worked up until now has been being freelance photographers, meaning we make money from the brands that we work for, not make money from the people that follow us. But if, along the way, if you want to support us, I don't want to take that opportunity from you. So if you do,
Our family would certainly really appreciate it.
Yeah, you can use the links in our link tree. Those are affiliate links. They don't cost you anything. Sometimes they even save you money, and they give us a little kickback. And it's not much, so don't worry, we're not going to get rich off of your purchases. You can purchase items directly from our e-commerce store on our website. You can sign up for our website newsletter. That's another way that you can help support us. You can subscribe to our YouTube and follow us on Instagram and find us on Facebook. And then as this grows, I sure hope that Patreon can become more of a part of kind of our daily routine or monthly routine. So if you guys are interested in that, we do have a Patreon. You can go over there. And I know that with the amount of time we're going to be spending on the road, we're going to be able to put together all kinds of exclusive content or early release content that only Patreon subscribers will have access to. For our sake, as this process goes on, verbalize to us. Send us comments, messages, find us on other socials, and let us know how we're doing and if there's something we could do differently.
Like it.
Okay.
Okay. We appreciate you guys.
Have a good day, guys.